Hello, thank you for having me here today. I am Rebecca Moskowitz. I am the Executive Director of Advancement for the Association of Waldorf Schools of North America, and I'm very happy to be here today to talk to you about the learning culture and outcomes of Waldorf education. Waldorf education began in 1919 in Germany to educate the children of the Waldorf Astoria cigarette factory. This was a pioneer school in social justice because it was one of the first schools that educated children regardless of race, class, or skill level. Today, there are now over 1,000 Waldorf schools worldwide, which means Waldorf is one of the largest independent school movements. The mission of Waldorf, the goal of Waldorf education is actually quite simple, and it's not so different than the goals of parenting. The goal of Waldorf education is to develop healthy adults who are happy, self-directed, and interested in the world. The goal is a social one. It's to cultivate a love of learning, and in doing so, develop free-thinking, morally responsible global citizens. Waldorf School's pedagogy places equal importance on three things in particular, and I would like you to hold these as sort of the pillars or tenets of Waldorf education and the culture of learning in Waldorf schools. One is social emotional learning. One is creative innovation through experiential learning. And the third is integrative intellectual and cognitive achievement. So I'd like to just go through each of these briefly. Social emotional learning, this is nothing new, but our approach is quite different. A class has the same teacher for several years in a Waldorf school, and more than 7 years. Often a class teacher will have a group of students first grade all the way through 8th grade, teaching every subject. You can only imagine the strong bonds that are formed among peers, students, among families and teachers. The relationships are long lasting, well into adulthood. Another element of the social emotional education is that in Waldorf schools, grades and formalized testing are introduced in the upper grades, not in the early grades, and instead storytelling, projects, experiments, brain games are used as challenging academic tools. The culture of learning in a Waldorf school also prioritizes human interactions and unmediated learning experiences over the use of screens, computers, and smart devices, especially again in the early grades. This low-tech approach creates a greater social interaction among peers. And now I want to talk about the experiential and kinesthetic learning aspects of Waldorf. As I mentioned, things are project-based and collaborative in the classroom. There's always movement going on in the classrooms. And we want to do this so that we're integrating all of the systems and styles of learning. And I'd like to state this in another way. There's a psychologist, an American psychologist named William Glasser, and he did some research and discovered that when we read, we retain approximately 10% of what we've read. When we listen, we retain approximately 20%. When we are seeing and observing, we retain approximately 30%. However, when we're experiencing something, we retain 80% of what we experience. And then finally, integrative and interdisciplinary thinking, critical thinking, ethical decision-making, assimilation of information rather than memorizing facts, courage to take intellectual risks, public speaking, leadership skills, project management, and goal-oriented assignments. This is a Waldorf high school, and even before high school, these things are integrated into every classroom. Some of the outcomes: nearly 100% of Waldorf graduates attend college. 47% choose a major in humanities and arts. 42% choose a major in science and math. They go to places like Oberlin, Bard, Sarah Lawrence, Emory University. And other outcomes: Waldorf fuels curiosity and creativity. These are statements from our alumni. They say that the person matters and not just the test. Waldorf showed me the value of an interdisciplinary approach to my work and my life. And I would just like to close by saying that I personally, as a veteran Waldorf teacher of 20 years, can attest to the following. Waldorf students, K through 12, love school. Just let that sit with you. They love school, they love to learn, and our Waldorf graduates have confidence and poise in their lives and care about the world and its people. Thank you for listening.